your Attorney General's opinion stating that it's not lawful for Minnesota counties to hold people for immigration authorities, even if there is an immigration warrant? Do you agree with his statement? That's his statement. It's not yours. I just want to know if you agree with him.
Yeah. Well, I know you know this, Congressman, that all 87 Minnesota counties follow federal law.
I don't know that. I just want to know. I don't know that. Why would I know that? I'm just going by your Attorney General.
I haven't got the
He says not to do it. Do you agree with the Attorney General? That's all I'm asking.
The Attorney General is elected independently in Minnesota. Nothing in his opinion allows it. In Minnesota,
so are you telling me you disagree with him?
Could I have 20 seconds just to say?
I just want you to answer the question. You're not answering the question.
I served here, Congressman, and there's the respect to the witnesses to just be able to speak.
Yeah, there is, and there should be respect, and that respect from the witness should be to answer the question.
Our counties and jurisdictions can do whatever they deem necessary. They have to.
Do you agree with your Attorney General? Apparently, we don't know, because you're not going to answer. You're going to be oblique about it.
In a hearing that should have every American on edge, Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona delivered a scathing rebuke to the leaders of so-called sanctuary states over the consequences of illegal immigration, consequences that border towns like Yuma have been dealing with for years. But what set this hearing apart was the clash that followed. Biggs confronted Minnesota Governor Tim Walz with a simple, clear-cut question. Do you agree with your Attorney General that Minnesota counties cannot hold illegal immigrants even when there's an ICE warrant? What followed was a masterclass in political evasion. Governor Walz danced around the issue, dodged the question repeatedly, and refused to take stand. The tension reached a boiling point as Biggs called out the filibustering and accused sanctuary state officials of violating federal law, going so far as to say they're committing federal crimes by ignoring immigration detainers. This wasn't just about one hearing or one question. This was about whether our leaders will uphold the rule of law or run from accountability, whether they will protect our sovereignty or throw open the gates in the name of politics. Welcome to America Viewpoint, where we speak the truth, defend our freedoms, and fight for the values that made this nation great. No censorship, no woke spin, just bold, unfiltered commentary from real Americans who love this country. If you're tired of the lies and ready to stand for faith, family, and freedom, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the Liberty Bell, because this is where the fight begins.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I get a kick out of you sanctuary state, county, city leaders who talk about having to deal with the border crisis. Cracks me up, actually. But at least, Governor Pritzker, you did call it a crisis in your statement. I appreciate that. Ultimately, as you said in your statement, you received 50,000 illegal aliens into Cook County. And Governor Hochul stated that New York received about 220,000 illegal aliens. That's fantastic that you know those numbers roughly. Now I want you to imagine you're a southern Arizona community of about 80,000 people, sitting right on the border. And over the course of the Biden administration, a couple of million people came through your little town. And I quote you, Governor Pritzker, Illinois didn't ask for this crisis, and I'm going to tell you, neither did Yuma, Arizona. Its lone hospital, only hospital, couldn't handle the influx, nor could its single food bank, its law enforcement, its schools, and other services and infrastructure. That was a failure, you're correct, on the part of the federal government under Joe Biden. That's all stopped now. That's all stopped now. Because it didn't take a new law, it took enforcement of the current law. But you know what drew a lot of those people? Because you might have been down there once. I've been down there dozens of times. I've taken more people from Congress down there than anybody else here. And you know what those people told me? They're coming here because they do. They do want. They wanted to get to places, and they would name Chicago, and they would name New York to me. And I'd say, why the heck are you crossing here and not crossing at Del Rio? Because you guys offered sanctuary policies. They believed that they would be protected in your jurisdictions. And now that these millions of illegal aliens are here, permitted to get here by the Democrats and the Biden administration, your jurisdictions actually hinder the enforcement of immigration laws because of the sanctuary policies you've adopted. And then you have the temerity to complain about the influx of illegal aliens that strain your social services. Well, you did that. That's not even an unintended consequence. That's what it is. So I'll ask you, Governor Walz, do you agree with Minnesota your Attorney General's opinion stating that it's not lawful for Minnesota counties to hold people for immigration authorities, even if there is an immigration warrant? Do you agree with his statement? That's his statement. It's not yours. I just want to know if you agree with him.
Yeah, well, I know you know this, Congressman, that all 87 Minnesota counties follow federal law.
I don't know that. I just want to know. I don't know that. Why would I know that?
haven't got the
I'm
chance
just
to
going by
explain
your Attorney General.
I haven't
He
got the
says not
chance
to
to
do
explain
it.
it.
Do you agree with the Attorney General? That's all I'm asking.
The Attorney General is elected independently in Minnesota. Nothing in his opinion allows it. In Minnesota,
So are you telling me
Congressman,
you disagree with him?
Could I
Do
have
you
20
disagree with him?
seconds just to say?
I just want you to answer the question. You're not answering the question.
I served here, Congressman, and there's the respect to the witnesses to just be able to speak.
Yeah, there is, and there should be respect, and that respect from the witness should be to answer the question.
Our counties and jurisdictions can do whatever they deem necessary. They have to.
Do you agree with
before
your Attorney
federal-
General? Apparently, we don't know, because you're not going to answer. You're going to be oblique about it. So,
That's unfair characterization. I'm trying to answer. I'm not the Attorney General of Minnesota.
do you
but
agree with his memo? And
It does
you're killing
nothing-
time because you're filibustering. Do you agree with his memo? That's all I'm asking.
Nothing.
And you don't want to even answer it. You just say, oh, you know, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Let's go to you, Governor Pritzker. A lawsuit was filed against you in the state of Illinois, and you responded. Your response to the claim is that Illinois has a quote constitutionally protected choice not to assist federal authorities with deportation, close quote. Give me the constitutional reference you're making there. What are you referring to?
Congressman, I don't know the lawsuit that you're referring to, and I don't know that I was the respondent in that lawsuit. I can say that
This is from the response filed on your behalf. So you didn't read the response? Well, let me then ask you, if that is the response officially of you, how is that consistent with Arizona versus U.S.? It's not. How is it consistent with 8 U.S.C. 287 D3? It's not. Let's just cover it in the last 18 seconds. When you guys say you say we do give these people the information only on a criminal warrant. Is there any distinction in 8 U.S.C. 1373A, 1324, 1324C that says, yeah, you don't have to give information, you don't have to provide the body, you don't have to respond to the ICE detainer? Is there anything in there that says there's a distinction between the criminal law, the criminal warrant, the criminal detainer, and a civil warrant, civil detainer? Is there anything in there? The answer is no. I'll answer for you. You do violate the law. You are sanctuary cities. And every one of you sitting there, if you don't know that by now, you should know it walking out of here, that you are actually committing a federal crime every time someone does that, because you don't have the authority under federal law or under the Constitution to negate even a civil warrant for someone who's violated a federal offense when you get a detainer notice. Yield back.
Chair recognizes Mr. Frost from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Let's unpack what happened in this explosive congressional hearing and why it matters. Right from the start, Representative Biggs didn't hold back. He pointed out that governors from sanctuary states like Illinois and New York were finally acknowledging the border crisis. Governor Pritzker admitted his state had taken in about 50,000 illegal immigrants. New York's Governor Hochul, over 220,000. But here's the thing. These leaders are complaining about the pressure on their cities now after encouraging sanctuary policies that drew these migrants in the first place. As Biggs said, that's not even an unintended consequence. That's exactly what you created. Biggs then compared their numbers to Yuma, Arizona, a small border town of just 80,000 people that has seen millions of illegal crossings since the start of the Biden administration. Their only hospital? Overwhelmed. Their food bank? Strained. Schools and law enforcement? Barely hanging on. So when these governors complain, the question is, where was your compassion when border towns were screaming for help? Biggs made it clear. Migrants are crossing specifically to reach sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York. Why? Because they know they'll be shielded from federal law. He's spoken directly to migrants at the border. He asked them why they didn't cross at Del Rio or Laredo. You know what they told him? They were heading to sanctuary cities. That's not a coincidence. That's policy failure, and it's a magnet for illegal crossings. So when these same cities cry out for federal help, the irony is painful. You invited the problem, then refused to enforce the solution. Then came the most heated moment of the hearing. BIGGS asked Governor Walz a straightforward question. Do you agree with your Attorney General's opinion that Minnesota counties cannot hold illegal immigrants even with a warrant from IC? That's a yes or no question. But Walz wouldn't say either. Instead, he deflected. All 87 counties follow federal law. The Attorney General is independently elected. You know this, Congressman. But BIGGS didn't let up. He kept asking, and Walz kept dodging. At one point, BIGGS snapped. You're not answering the question. You're filibustering. You're killing time. And he was right. This was pure political theater, not leadership. Let me ask you this. If your Attorney General has publicly told counties not to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, and you won't even say if you agree or disagree, what are you hiding? Where's the courage to lead? Where's the commitment to the law? Next, BIGGS turned to Governor Pritzker of Illinois. He brought up a lawsuit filed against the state, where Illinois responded by claiming it had a constitutionally protected choice not to help federal authorities with deportations. That's a stunning position. A state deciding it can ignore federal immigration law? BIGGS asked him, what's your constitutional basis for that claim? And again, Pritzker dodged. He claimed he hadn't read the lawsuit or the response filed on his behalf. Seriously? If your legal team is making sweeping constitutional claims about federal law, and you, the governor, have no idea what they're saying in your name, how can you be trusted with public safety? That's not leadership. That's negligence. BIGGS closed with a legal masterstroke. He asked whether sanctuary cities were distinguishing between criminal and civil immigration warrants. The sanctuary excuse is often, we only cooperate when there's a criminal warrant. But as BIGGS pointed out, federal law doesn't make that distinction. Statutes like 8 U.S.C. 1373, 1324, and 287(3) clearly outline cooperation requirements, and none of them say you can ignore civil detainers. When sanctuary cities pick and choose what to obey, they're not just resisting. They're violating federal law. Every single time. And BIGGS didn't mince words. He said, you are actually committing a federal crime every time you ignore a detainer notice. Let that sink in. These leaders are proudly violating immigration law and then blaming everyone else when their systems break down. This hearing wasn't about political points. It was about accountability. It showed us the dangerous consequences.
Do you agree with his memo? And
the chaos
you're
in our
killing
cities.
time because
The
you're
lies were being
filibustering.
fed about
Do you agree with
compassion
his memo?
and equity. And it
That's
showed
all
us
I'm
what
asking.
real leadership
And you
looks
don't want
like.
to even answer it.
A
You say,
congressman
oh,
from
maybe
Arizona
that,
who
maybe
stood
yes,
up,
maybe no, I don't know.
asked tough
Let's go to you,
questions,
Governor Pritzker.
and refused to back down.
A
We need
lawsuit was
more of
filed
that.
against you in
We
the
need
state of
patriots
Illinois.
who put law over
And,
politics, truth over spin,
you
and
responded,
America over ideology.
Your response to the
Because if we
claim
don't
is
stand
that
up now,
Illinois,
if we let sanctuary
as a,
states
quote,
rewrite the
constitutionally protected
rules,
choice not
then
to
we're no
assist
longer a
federal
nation of
authorities
laws.
with
We're a nation of
deportation, close quote.
loopholes. This
Give
is
me the-
America
give me the
viewpoint,
constitutional,
where we don't whisper,
reference
we
you're-
roar.
you're making
We
there.
stand
What are you
tall,
referring to?
speak loud, and never back down from
Congressman,
defending
I
truth.
don't
and
know
liberty.
the
If this
lawsuit
message
that you're
fired you
referring
up,
to, and I don't
smash
know
that
that
like
I
button,
was the
hit
respondent
subscribe,
in that
and
lawsuit.
turn on
I can say
notifications.
that-
This
Because the fight
is
for
from
America
the
doesn't
response
end
filed
when
on
the
your behalf.
video
So you didn't
does.
read the response?
Until next
Well,
time,
let me then ask
stay
you,
strong,
if that is the
stay
response
free,
officially
and may God
of
bless
you,
the United States
how is
of
that
America.
consistent with Arizona?